Administrative Committee, adoption of a charter for the board's Audit and Oversight Committee, adoption of a charter for the board's Operations Committee, adoption of a charter for the board's Pension Committee. Supplemental reimbursement agreement between SEPTA and the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation relating to the reconstruction of the Route 1 bridge and crossover SEPTA's West Trenton Regional Rail Line. Amendment to supplemental reimbursement agreement between SEPTA and the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation relating to the reconstruction of the College Avenue Bridge, which crosses over SEPTA's Norristown high-speed line. Adoption of a safety management system comprising of authority safety plan for SEPTA's rail transit, bus, and CCT operations. Authorization to award contracts for procurement. Board of Contracts for sole source procurement. Authorization to execute change orders and amendments. All the items on the consent calendar have been reviewed by the appropriate board committees in public session. I'll enter the motion to adopt these resolutions.
Ken Lawrence makes the motion.
Is there a second?
Second, Skip Bryan.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? First of all, any abstentions? Hearing none. Any opposed? The resolutions are adopted. Move on to the report of the general manager. Ms. Richards.
Thank you, Chairman Dion. SEPTA has demonstrated throughout the past 6 months of the pandemic that transit is essential infrastructure. We've provided lifeline service to essential workers when they needed it most, and I'm happy to say that we're now focused on meeting the region's changing needs and preparing for future demands. As restrictions continue to loosen throughout the Philadelphia region, allowing workplaces to welcome back employees, children and young adults to return to school and college campuses, and restaurants to increase capacity, we must continue to remain vigilant. These factors, combined with cases spiking in other states and the start of cold and flu season, mean that it is more important than ever for SEPTA employees and customers to wear masks while using our system. We've taken a number of proactive measures to better anticipate and understand customer needs and concerns. Earlier this month, we released our COVID-19 recovery plan, SEPTA Move Better Together, which demonstrates how SEPTA teams are planning scenarios based on projections for the pandemic, the economy, and social behaviors. It captures SEPTA's efforts to partner with experts in the industry to incorporate best practices here in the United States, as well as lessons learned from global cities who are ahead of us on the pandemic curve. We are engaging with customers through social media and a customer travel survey. We learned that the most critical issues are mask wearing, cleaning and sanitizing, and ensuring safe social distancing. We have put initiatives into place that address these concerns and will continue to survey customers in the coming months to gather valuable feedback. Our team of social distancing coaches stationed at key locations promote mask wearing. They distribute masks to those who need them and answer SEPTA-related questions. We've also posted social distancing signage and are encouraging riders to keep space between themselves and others where they can. This pilot program, which ran from August 4th through the 27th, was so well received that we've extended the program from September 8th through today, the 24th. To protect riders' health and safety, we have implemented a deeper and more robust cleaning regimen focused on sanitizing surfaces and filtering and refreshing the air our riders breathe. We continue to collaborate with businesses in the region to help them prepare for the near-term travel needs. We shared our employer toolkit with resources to share with their employees. SEPTA continues to partner with the business community to plan for the coming months and years. Understanding that transit serves as an important catalyst for an equitable future, we've made great strides in our work to evaluate every aspect of our business through an equity lens with an eye toward building a more inclusive and welcoming environment at SEPTA. For all of our success, we also overcame an unexpected challenge. I thank all of our SEPTA employees for their patience and understanding as we continue to address and recover from the recent malware attack on our SEPTA's network, which impacted email, files, and other important systems. Working around the clock with cybersecurity and computer forensic specialists, our IT team continues to work diligently to fully restore and improve our network, safeguard personal information and security of our IT systems, and build a better system for the future. This unprecedented year has provided us with an opportunity to rethink our priorities and move forward stronger than before. SEPTA is committed to creating a more equitable system that helps connect all of our communities and drives our region's economy. Before I close, I want to share that today, Deputy General Manager Bob Lund is being recognized by the Philadelphia section of the American Society of Civil Engineers as the Transportation Engineer of the Year for 2020. We are so proud of him. We want to congratulate Bob on this extremely well-deserved honor. He makes all of us here at SEPTA very proud. Thank you so much, Bob. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I conclude my report.
Thank you, Leslie. Bob, again from the board, you've been a stalwart person at SEPTA, and it's about time they recognize that. So thank you for your service, and thank you for getting a great award. We have a couple speakers. We're going to start off with Michael Bente.
Good evening. My name is Michael Bente, and I'm a cashier at the Broad Street line. So as the country begins to reopen, you guys can hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Just making sure. Okay. As the country begins to reopen, we continue to face a threat on the health and well-being of Local 234 members. As of today, we have over 300 members who are COVID-19 positive. So I want to stress that that's probably, I think that's the most out of any city agency in the city of Philadelphia. We also have 5 members who paid the ultimate price. Just because we're in the green phase of the pandemic does not mean we are in the blue. The virus is still here, and we must be proactive in ensuring that members and the riding public are kept safe. Furthermore, many of the safety protocols that were put in place during the early part of this pandemic has been retracted. Why? Something that hasn't been retracted are the schedules on the buses and on the trains. Although we are seeing an uptick in ridership, we continue to operate in pandemic mode, which is creating an overcrowding situation. In addition, the inability for cashiers to collect cash is further complicating things for our riding public, whom are having to use a fair kiosk system that works half of the time. And you guys complain about losing customers? How about we start focusing on the ones we have? Not only on the regional rail side, but also on the city transit side. If the health and well-being of customers and employees who maintain and use our service are a priority, more need to be done to keep us safe. Here's some recommendations I put. One is mandating the development of SEPTA preparedness plan to respond to pandemics in the future, because it may be a situation where the virus might come around and we have to shut down. We got to be prepared. So you guys need to develop a preparedness plan. The second thing is you need to study the transmission of infectious disease in public transit and communicate this information to us. And lastly, figure out a way to increase air ventilation throughout the buses, the trains, and the subway system. 6 months has gone by and we haven't seen no real initiative in place to keep us safe. 6 months has gone by and we have yet to receive a single penny in the form of hazard pay for the heroic work frontline workers do. Local 234 members risk it all by coming to work every day to provide the essential service to keep Philadelphia moving. Some paid the ultimate price. We have been called heroes by SEPTA general manager, SEPTA board, and politician. I agree, but actions speak louder than words. Unfortunately, our heroes continue to get zeros, while our members continue to brave through hazardous conditions. SEPTA managers continue to work at the comfort and the safety of their home. Even after $630 million has been awarded to SEPTA, you guys refuse to budge on hazard pay. Keep in mind that this money would not even come to us had it not been for the heroes, right? So I'm asking SEPTA to show your appreciation for the work we do by giving us what is rightfully ours, hazard pay. And also, real quick, I know I'm probably past the 2 minute mark, but I want to just touch up on something that's affecting the Broad Street line. Another coworker of mine had mentioned this to me. The restroom facilities on the line are in dire need of renovations. I want to make myself clear. No amount of cleaning from the maintenance custodian department could be sufficient to reverse condition. These are high-use restroom and is expected to deteriorate within time. What is also expected is a certain amount from the authority budget should be allocated to update these facilities. I think it's Act 89 every few years. And in closing, I want to make a bet. I dare any one of you guys, right, on the board or accept the executive team, to use the bathroom at Spring Garden Station. And I'm just daring one of you guys to just use it one time and let me know what you think. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Leslie?
Yeah, I'd like to just to make a few comments. First of all, we have had over 300 of our employees test positive, but I'm very happy to report that over 80% of them have fully recovered and returned to work, and we're very grateful for their full recovery. We do have a recovery plan that states exactly what you asked, different scenarios. It has been released to the public. It is available on our website as well. And so if you have any questions regarding that plan, please let us know. But it's very informative and allows the public as well as area employers to know how we are all working together and working on the region's recovery. And then the last thing I wanted to comment is that we continue to have communications with union leadership. Those communications are going very well, and it is good back and forth to make sure, again, that everybody is having any questions or concerns answered along the way. We meet several times a week if needed and as often as needed. So we're happy with those conversations.
Great, thank you. Rhonda Lancaster?
Yes, hello? Can everyone hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Oh, great, thank you. Hi, good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me to speak. Ms. Richards, I met you at a Philly Transit Union Riders meeting a few months ago on Spring Garden Street, and I spoke to you briefly, and this was right at almost the beginning of the pandemic. But since then, and my point of contention would be with the Chestnut Hill West line. That line is the closest line to me. I live in Germantown on Morris Street, and it's about a 10-minute walk from my home. Now that the line has closed, and you all know that it's been closed for quite a while now, I'm having to go, first of all, I'm having to go into Center City twice a week for medical treatment. And I now find myself having to take a lift from my home to Wayne Junction, which is costing me between $6 and $10 a ride twice a week. So we're talking about 4 times that I got to do this to get to Wayne Junction and back home. Um, I have been speaking with some residents who live closer to the Chestnut Hill West line, and some of them have, first of all, a lot of them are very upset that the line was closed down without any warning at all, or not warning, but so much any disclosure publicly about why the line was closed. Several have called and were told by customer service that they did not have any information on why the line was closed. And as you know, it's been closed for a while. So all in all, it has been a hardship for myself and a whole lot of other people that ride this line. This is not a ghost line. Like you have some other lines. I think the Kenwood line maybe is what they term as a ghost line. It's like it doesn't have a lot of riders on it. This line has a lot of riders on it from the top all the way down. I have ridden that line when it was in operation, and it would be crowded anytime between 5:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. in the morning. What can happen to get the line restored? Let me finish up with this. I am disabled and I'm going in town for medical treatment, as I said. I shouldn't have to go through all of this drama twice a week to go to something that's further away from my house and I have access to something that's closer. Can you all explain what is happening with Chestnut Hill and what the remedy is going to be? Thank you.
Hey, Leslie, why don't you take that question? Also, I want to try to keep these down to 2 minutes because we have a lot of speakers here. So, hey, so Liz, why don't you handle that question, and then we'll move on to the other speakers right here.
Sure, sure. Look, just as we've done every single day in this pandemic, we are operating the best service possible as we move forward. Right now, there is substation work going on. I want to stress that SEPTA is committed to reopening the Chestnut Hill West. We understand your concerns. We share many of the concerns. We've invested tens of millions of dollars to upgrade the stations and the infrastructure along the Chestnut Hill West line, and we continue to work to ensure that it will be available for customers in the future. Right now, that substation work is being done alongside with Amtrak and PennDOT, and so right now we cannot open up the line because of that construction. We continue to monitor passenger volume on alternate services that Chestnut Hill West customers may be using. We include the Chestnut Hill East and the Route 23, which run very close to the Chestnut Hill West line. At this time, we are not seeing higher ridership levels on those services compared with other buses and regional rail lines. We'll continue to monitor them. And if you have any feedback on those lines as well, please reach out to us. I just want to state that still, look, regional rail ridership remains very low. We're still only about 10% of the pre-COVID levels. We're in close contact with community elected officials, business leaders, and other stakeholders to make sure we'll be ready with service as more people return to offices and other workplaces. We do have to wait until this construction is completed. We will be looking and monitoring, but we anticipate considering reopening that line probably at the end of this year, beginning of next year, just to give you a time frame. But we're happy to talk to you about other options on our service, as well as anyone else who has any concerns on the Chestnut Hill West line. We know that it's an inconvenience. We value all corridors and routes on our system, and we are working to get it back up.
Great. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Ms. Lancaster. Move on to Nat Loans. Mr. Loans. Move on to Caroline Slama. Ms. Slama? Hello? All right, we'll move on to Ethan Diamond. Mr. Diamond?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. My name is Ethan Diamond. I'm speaking on behalf of the Philadelphia Transit Riders Union. It is quite mind-boggling what's happening regarding the Chestnut Hill West Line and the Route 23 bus. As you are aware, we're in a global pandemic, and it's critical that we have proper social distancing on SEPTA. I commend you for running regular schedules and placing capacity restrictions on trains and buses. However, these efforts have fallen short for the riders of the Chestnut Hill West Line, who have been forced to take the busiest bus route in the entire system, the Route 23. The Route 23 schedule was never meant to handle riders from a regional rail line. Neither was it designed to accommodate ride limits on buses. Therefore, you have created a situation where riders from the Chestnut Hill West Line and the Route 23 are fighting for limited capacity, fundamentally against the idea of government-subsidized public transportation. This has led to a lack of social distancing and bypass stops for many people who have no other option to access jobs and essential services and are effectively putting themselves and their loved ones at risk in order to keep our communities going. But the solution here is simple. Run more service on the Route 23 or run shuttle buses on the Chestnut Hill West Line to safely accommodate passengers. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Diamond. Sam Newbart? Mr. Newbart? Okay.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, members of the board. Good afternoon. My name is Sam Newbart. I'm a member of the Philadelphia Transit Riders Union. I live up in Mount Airy, and I mostly ride the 23 bus, the Broad Street line, and the Chestnut Hill West line. I'm a big believer in the value that public transit provides society, a value that is more than the financial cost. And in talking to my neighbors that live nearby that rely on the Chestnut Hill West line, I've heard a lot of stories of folks unable to take public transit to their essential jobs, either in the northwest area of the city or down to Center City. These are people that are already making financial sacrifices to be able to afford the high fares on the regional rail, which is unfortunately often the only option for public transit they have. These are elderly people. These are people with disabilities. These are people that can't afford to own a car. These are people that deserve to have the same participation in our society, whether or not they can afford to drive, and they're being forced to have to figure out other accommodations because the rail is shut down. I understand that we are in extraordinary times and that ridership is low, but how can we expect ridership to not be low when the train comes every hour? If I miss my train, I have to wait 2 hours for the next one. That's ridiculous. And I'm asking today the board to imagine with me a better future for the regional rail lines in Philly. I'm asking what concrete steps the board can take to secure funding to increase frequency of the regional rail, to think about a U-Bahn style system where we have frequent subway-like service and subway-like costs on our regional rail infrastructure. We have the rail, we have the trains, we just need to run them, and we could have such an incredible system in Philly. So I appreciate your time, and I wonder what steps the board can commit to for securing additional funding to lower fares and increase frequency. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Newbart. You hit a nail on the head. The board and general manager and the whole staff are working on funding almost every day. We noticed our $375 million deficit, so we're on board for that. So stay tuned. I move on to Yasha Z.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Yasha Zarenkelk. I represent Transit Forward Philadelphia. We are a coalition of Philadelphia-based organizations advocating for a better public transit system here in the greater Philadelphia region. I want to appreciate the SEPTA board and the SEPTA team for the management plan that they put out and the steps that they're taking to ensure that our riders are safe. I think there are some things still that the SEPTA board and SEPTA management need to be maybe focusing on and prioritizing. And I think one of those things is a comprehensive bus network redesign. We're talking a lot about overcrowding of buses. We're talking about the Chestnut Hill West line no longer operating, the Route 23 bus being overcrowded. This is an opportunity for SEPTA to, redesigning our buses while our streets are relatively empty. A lot of people are still working from home, and there's still opportunities for, emergency bus lanes to be put in place while the pandemic and the stay-at-home orders, have been lifted, but are still in place. The comprehensive bus network redesign is a great opportunity to, one, prevent the spread of the pandemic on public transit, and two, give our riders an opportunity to regain the trust and the respect that SEPTA has given its riders in the past. I think SEPTA riders need to feel comfortable and safe on transit, and a great opportunity for them to do that is through the bus network redesign, by showing them that they're committed to our riders and they're committed to keeping our riders safe. I also want to say that Transit Forward Philadelphia is also working with advocates across the country and trying to secure federal funding for transit agencies like SEPTA. We are continuing this process, and we'll continue fighting with you, ensuring that funding can come to SEPTA so that our riders can be protected and can ride safely. Thank you so much for your time.
Another call. Can somebody just call me back on this
Thank you. To answer the quick question, I'll turn it over to Leslie for a second. We are on board for planning, and we have a planner at the helm with Leslie. And I think, Leslie, why don't you bring up the speed on where we're at in the bus redesign? But it's a fluid process right now based on the pandemic. But why don't you bring them up to speed on what we're doing on the redesign?
Yeah, sure, Yasha. I just wanted to make sure you had the latest information. So just as we spoke with the group that you organized and convened right before the pandemic started, we talked about the comprehensive bus network redesign, and we are all very close to consultant selection at this time. And we should have that, and we should have it moving forward by this fall. so we agree with you. We're moving ahead, and it will very much help us move into the future. It has not paused, and it is not stopping. We continue to move on a lot of work, even during this pandemic, because again, it is very important to the future of SEPTA. So thanks for those comments.
Thank you. I think that was it on the additional speakers. We want to move on to pre-recorded ones. Somebody's got their phone not on mute, so if we could get that, and then also we can move on to the four, starting off with my Nugent.
Chairman Dion, we have one more speaker, Victoria Grant.
Hi there, can you guys hear me?
Victoria,
That's okay.
please.
Yeah, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Hi there, my name is Victoria Gant. I'm also a member of the Philly Transit Riders Union. I'd also like to talk about the overcrowding on buses and ask you guys a quick question. Prior to the pandemic, the 21 headed west, which I took often, after 5 p.m. was usually so crowded that it couldn't pick up new passengers. You know, sometimes 2 completely full buses would just fly by my stop. In my years of riding that route, it hasn't really improved aside from the general ridership drop during the pandemic. So I wanted to ask if you monitor overcrowding on buses and if that overhaul of the bus system that you say is coming in the future months is going to help sort of prevent overcrowding like that, especially once the pandemic subsides, because I'm worried that, you know, once all of the measures that are currently in place go away, things are just going to go back to the status quo of super crowded buses.
No, I think Leslie, just to give a quick follow-up, but you planned this bus overhaul and looking at the route a while ago, pre-pandemic, so I think you're going to see a result of it. But Leslie, why don't you give her a quick update on where you're at on those?
Sure, yes. The comprehensive bus network redesign will be looking at the items you just mentioned, and we're also investing in APC's automatic passenger counters, which will allow us to better monitor in real time the amount of passengers on each vehicle. We know that that's important to transit anyway, but even more important during this pandemic, because we do want to help people keep at safe distances wherever possible. So yes, we are moving in that direction, and the study will definitely help us with that.
All right, Carol, you can start off with my Nugent on the audio on stage. Thank you.
Will do.
Hey, Carol, I'm not hearing that. So, are they all similar in nature, or are the next ones better? Carol,
The next one is, the next speaker is Doris Spears.
what? Okay, they're not coming through on our audio. So
I'm on my board. Go down C, go and place your food. Yeah. Did you get something?
No, we're not getting anything. Let me suggest this. Can you transcribe those and make them part of the statement and send them out as a transcribed
You go down here,
board?
Chairman, I will have the statements provided to the court reporter, and she will transcribe those in the transcript, and we will provide those online and to the board members and staff.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Thank you. Anybody have any questions on the board before we ask for a motion to adjourn? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Ken Lawrence, motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Second. Any objections? Hearing none, we're adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Now exiting
At